It's been a while since we painted some wooden animals. The summer has quite literally flown by, but it's time to open up the sketchbook and paint some critters again. So today we're going to be doing a little mid-year check-in, reevaluating my goals, and resetting them to finish out the year strong. We're coming in hot with an all-new theme of the Savannah, or as my dad wonderfully named it, Savanimals.
Classic.
Now I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. The Wooden Animal series is not my favorite. Now hear me out, this is actually a very important point for artists. I'm not at all saying that I don't enjoy painting them, I really do. It's fun exploring different animals, and doing these paintings helps me study the different facial structures of animals and how to simplify the planes of the face. It also helps me explore creating different color palettes that are a little bit outside the box. And it's simply fun to just get into my sketchbook and paint something. Because storytelling is so important to me, and it's one of the biggest things that really excites me in art, I find myself much more connected to my bits and bobble sketches and the Marikey Meadow illustrations, my fuller, more story-based artwork. Now you may be asking,
Allie, why would you continue painting something if it's not really what inspires you? Why not spend all your time painting and drawing what brings you the most joy?
And these are exactly the questions that I've been asking myself lately. And I think the answer is something that we can all connect with. Let's think of it like friends. Not the show, the people. Let's say you have two different friendships. Friend number one is your best friend. They're the first person you want to share great news with, and they're your go-to when you've had a really bad day. They're the one that you're doing life with on the regular, and you literally cannot imagine your life without them. Now you have friend number two. You love spending time with this friend, and you have a lot of really fun conversations when you do. They're the go to the mall for a day and goof around kind of friend, not the sit on the floor and cry with you kind of friend. Your friendship with the first person doesn't diminish your friendship with the second person. They simply meet different needs. And that's okay. The art I make that is centered around storytelling is kind of like the first friend for me. It's the kind of art that I am most passionate about. It's the art that really just grounds me. It's the art that I'm always striving to create and pursuing almost daily. These wooden animals, they fall more into the second friend category. It's still important to me, and I get a lot out of painting them, but the depth of that relationship is nowhere near the first. Having different styles or subjects that I can turn to in my art is absolutely amazing because I'm always learning something new. It prevents me from getting bored with my art because I can always take a break and try something else. Some days, I just don't have any stories to tell. And on those days, painting these wooden animals or painting a food spread in my sketchbook, that's what keeps me going. It keeps my skills in shape, and it keeps the creativity flowing in a little bit of a different way. Now, for some reason, these wooden animals are always my most engaged with posts on Instagram. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I don't know if it's just that animals are a relatively broad subject that a larger majority of people like to see, and I paint them in a style that's not really super common. I don't know.
I don't pretend to understand social media and why people engage with different posts the way that they do.
But I've also noticed that not as many people engage with the Marikey Meadow and Bits and Bobbles artwork, and that's totally fine. But there's something really interesting about this. The smaller group of people that do engage with Bits and Bobbles and the Marikey Meadow engage deeper. They go out of their way to leave a really nice comment or to send me a DM about it. They enjoy telling me the similarities that they share with the characters and the pieces of themselves that they find in the stories. I think it's a much smaller group of people that really do understand Bits and Bobbles, and I'm absolutely okay with that. It makes it a little bit more special, like a secret that's right out in the open, but only a few people really take the time to see it. Let's take a brief moment to talk about my website and newsletter. If you enjoy these more kind of personal art videos where we get a little bit more vulnerable and talk about some of the admittedly more uncomfy parts of being a creative person, then I would absolutely love to share my weekly newsletter with you. I love emails because they make us take a moment to just slow down and sit for a second. We can read something and connect with it without being slammed with a billion different posts on social media screaming for your attention. One of my biggest goals with my art and with my videos and now with my newsletter is to give you the space to just slow down and to simply find the joy in something cozy and whimsical. So you can head over to my website via the link in the description to sign up for the newsletter, and while you're there, take a moment to peruse the shop. Every order over the next couple of weeks is going to be receiving a freebie sticker of the painting from the second part of this video, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that.
Pro tip:
the mystery grab bags have been selling like hotcakes, so now is definitely the time to snag one if you've been thinking about it. Okay.
Shameless website plug over.
Now back to the art chat. This has been a wackadoodle year for me in so many different ways, both in my personal life and in my art and business. Honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like I've just been floundering a little bit this year. I think there's this kind of mentality that you should have your life figured out by your 20s, and turning 21 this year was a little bit of a reality shock. I honestly felt like I didn't have any direction, combined with the fact that I wasn't currently enjoying my art at all really, and it was a recipe for me just not doing well. I have a tendency to try to do all the things all at once, and if something doesn't give me immediate results, I very quickly jump to the next thing.
A character flaw, I'm aware.
I've been trying so hard to grow my business this year, and it's frustrating when I don't see the growth that I want to be seeing. Instead of remembering that good things take time to grow and actually giving them that space to grow, I just wanted to already be in that super successful business stage. So I've tried a lot of things this year. I threw myself into every social media platform that I could. I built my website and shop and newsletter. I took on this 20 illustrations challenge and took an art licensing class and built a licensing portfolio and pitched myself to potential clients. And it's all just been so much. And I feel like I've been half-tushing most of those things. There's a really big danger to putting all your eggs in one basket, but there's also a danger in spreading yourself too thin. I think especially as an artist with chronic illness, that's an even bigger danger. I saw this quote one time that said, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. And it is absolutely true. Lately, as I've been pushing myself more and more to be super productive and to try to build this
super colossal business empire,
and focusing less on actually taking care of myself and getting the rest that I need, I'm having more and more days of pure exhaustion and symptom flare-ups that prevent me from being able to do literally anything at all. And I don't want that. My goal is to build an art career that is sustainable, and what I'm doing right now is, simply put, not. So, after a lot of careful thinking, I want to take a step back from things and focus my efforts where I believe they matter the most. I'll be going over more of what this looks like in the next video, but for now, we'll just hit some highlights. Number 1, I am determined to see this 20 illustrations challenge through to the end. And that's not an empty goal. As I've been reevaluating the original goals I'd set for myself this year, I realized that so many of them just weren't gonna lead me in the direction that I want to go. I want to escape that sunk cost fallacy and remember that it's absolutely okay to pivot if you're going the wrong direction. So I'm discarding the goals that aren't right for me, keeping the ones that are, and making some new ones that do align with the artist that I want to be and the art that I want to make. And I'm carefully backing each goal with valid reasons for why it is that I want to achieve them. Goals can't just be an empty destination. They have to mean something to you. So finishing the 20 illustrations challenge is really important to me because it's an opportunity to reconnect with my own imagination and create art that resonates with me. Like I talked about earlier, these more story-based illustrations are the ones that I am the most passionate about. They're the ones that light my fire and make me the most excited to create something. I chatted a bit about this in one of my newsletters about how I've kind of found a sort of creative home with the Marikey Meadow artwork that I've been making. It's helped me find that spark and love for art again, and I want that to keep going. Not that I won't still be continuing like this wooden animal series and such, but I really do want to focus more of the majority of my artistic efforts into completing this challenge. So the overall goal for my business now is both building a community and building my income. Now I know that second part is a bit uncomfy, but we'll get to that in a second. So what I've been realizing in trying to make a space for my art on every platform is that creates a very disjointed community. It's not just about my art connecting with people, but I myself want to connect with people too. And I want the people who do find joy in my work to be connected with each other, even in a small way. One of the things I'm learning this year is that a community doesn't have to be big. There's a beauty to smaller, close-knit communities too. And I'm learning that there's a very big difference between an audience and a community. The people who follow me on Instagram feel a bit more like an audience. They're there to see some pretty pictures and to just move on with their day. They don't seem overly interested in story or art education or even in getting to know me as an artist.
And that's totally fine.
But that's not a community. A community is give and take. It's receiving more from me than just a pretty picture. It's hearing the stories and resonating with them. It's coming along for the ups and downs of the creative process. It's sharing your own story and journey with me. I absolutely love being able to respond to your emails and comments and getting to know you. And I don't know if I would be able to maintain that if this community grew in a super big way. In order to build a stronger, closer community, I'm choosing to shift my efforts into the platforms that make the most sense for that. YouTube, for one.
I love YouTube.
I love the community here, I love the art of making videos, I love the opportunity to share the things I learn about art and demonstrating those things in my own art process. I also love Patreon. Again, it's a much smaller community, but it's one that I really love connecting with every single week. It's a place to share those behind the scenes moments and sneak peeks at new products that you guys are as excited for as I am. It's a place to share more of the education side of things too. I'm posting a tutorial this week on how I sketch out these wooden animals because the community there was really interested to see it. I love these spaces where we can connect with each other. And truly, I have really found a big love for writing a newsletter. I love writing. It's one of the ways that I find it easiest to share my thoughts and my feelings. And again, the newsletters feel much more of a one-on-one kind of communication. It's a space for us to just sit for a few moments together and have these kinds of art chats. It's a place where I can share what I'm working on all in one space, so you don't have to scramble around the internet to every single different platform trying to find stuff. The reality is, social media is so unpredictable and so fleeting. Twitter's going up in flames, Meta's having a rough time of it, even YouTube in some ways is changing. I mean, everything is always changing, and we have to be ready to try to adapt to it. But having a bit more of a centralized community, like with the newsletter, is a lot more stable on both ends. It's easier for me to reach you, and it's easier for you to reach me. Now, I also mentioned wanting to build my income. Now, I want to preface this by saying that income is not everything. The primary goal of my art is not about making money. But the reality is, if I want a full-time income that matches the full-time hours that I put in, I do need to make some changes. Now, I am fully aware that I do not put much effort into marketing my art. At all. And then I get all frustrated when nobody buys anything. But the point is, I do need to be making more of an effort into marketing both myself as an artist and the art that I'm making. We all get so fidgety talking about money, and guys, it's ridiculous, because it's really just not that deep. The reality is, whether you're working a 9-to-5 or trying to build a business, we're all out here just trying to make a living. There shouldn't be anything shameful about that or in talking about that. I adore making things and sharing them. The stickers and prints and magnets I make, it absolutely blows me away when people want to adopt them into their lives. Like,
You like my art so much that you paid for it?
it baffles me. And I rarely give people the opportunity to do so because I get so squeamish about promoting my work. If anything, it's a quick Instagram story saying something like, "Hey, prints are 10% off today," with a link to my shop. That's a pretty pitiful way to market my art, and the truth is, I really just don't know how. So I do want to put more effort into researching
That's not a word.
Researching marketing for small businesses and actually putting what I learned into action. I want to do better at marketing to allow both others to be able to experience the art of mine that they like in a more tangible way, and for me to be compensated on the work that I do. So, The moral of these goals is, in essence, scaling down in a way. It's shifting the effort away from what isn't helping anyone and putting it toward what does in both art and in business. I'm not saying I won't be making any art that isn't in that explosive storytelling passion category, and I'm not saying I won't still be making a few posts on Instagram here and there. But I do want to focus the majority of my efforts into what matters most. Making art that matters the most to me, and building a deeper, albeit smaller community. Let's wrap things up with a quick chat about this dragon painting. Now, I admit, I am 10,000% intentionally priming you for autumn content with this illustration. I've been having a hankering to paint one of those little dragon cardigan pieces, and it just felt so wonderfully fall. I mean, look at him! Slouchy cardigan, knitting needles. I swear, August rolls around and my inner Hobby Lobby awakens. It's all,
I love fall most of all,
and
pumpkin spice and everything nice.
It's kitschy, it's cringy, and I am here for all of it. Unfortunately, we're in the middle of a heat index right now, which is putting somewhat of a damper on my autumnal mood. Anywho, the next video is going to be even more fall focused, so I figured it would be a little bit kinder to prepare you with a video that's a little less so. Like I said earlier, every order in my shop is going to be getting one of these fancy schmancy holographic stickers of this little dragon, so don't miss out. Thank you guys so much for painting these little animals with me and for chatting about art and the ups and downs of being an artist. If nothing else, I hope this video helps you realize that it's okay to have art that you're really super passionate about and art that simply makes you smile. Huge thank you to the Cozy Club over on Patreon for being such an incredible community and for so kindly supporting my art journey. If you'd like to check out the tutorial for sketching this little lion, there's a link in the description to join the Cozy Club. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys!